Welcome everyone to another episode of the Unfiltered Podcast, where we take the I out of unfiltered and put the emphasis directly on you. This is the one platform where we get to take down our filters and have raw, authentic and vulnerable conversations in regards to the challenges that we're all facing today. Now, if you're a fan of the unfiltered nature of this podcast and you want more of these conversations that I have on the show to be normalized, why don't you help me help you to get more guests on and to have those difficult conversations in regards to the challenges we're all facing. I have to know what it is that you specifically want us to speak about. So if it isn't too much to ask, why don't you hit that subscribe button right now? And at the end of the episode, if it's been a hit for you, if it's hit home, why don't you leave a thumbs up and leave a cheeky review in regards to what specifically resonates with you. Now, with that all being said and done, let's get straight back into the episode. All right. How do I do the intro?
Oh, wait, just checking.
Yo, it's your boy Pri with another episode of the Unfiltered Podcast. This time we're mixing things up. I've got my boy Mr.Anonymous sitting in the seat next to me. I've asked the audience for a Q&A this week. And what we're going to do is just mix things up a little bit. Rather than have the standard guest conversation I've had in the past where it's just me asking questions and getting to know my guests. This time, I kind of want to answer some of the things that you lot are probably going through, things that you lot are probably interested in. And hopefully it hits home a little bit, Bill. Yeah, man, take it away with whatever you want to ask me.
Not what I want to ask you. What your community wants to ask
what the community wants to ask.
Right, so we started strong with this one.
Yeah.
And I kind of know you from before anyway. Who was Pri before he became a coach and started his own podcast?
Who was I before? I was probably chasing the standard same old, I'd say, I wouldn't call it a dream. The same old lifestyle I feel we were ingrained to just follow, i.e. my parents' dreams. If I look at it, maybe my dad or uncles and aunts or even before that, like my grandparents, like what a successful Indian man in London would look like. And so that was getting through school, getting through college, studying a good degree, doing well at uni, and then getting a job where you're kind of set for life. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to have good money coming in. You're going to be able to just be very, very financially successful on this front, regardless to what avenue you go down. And that'd be that. So I went down the old ACA route. If people know I'm an accountant by trade. Studied maths of econ at uni. But who was I before that? It's weird. Like I've spoken about it. I felt like I was hiding who I wanted to be. Because you know very well and true, like I was very creative.
Yeah.
To some degree from like primary school, very creative.
Yeah.
Loved a bit of drama, school plays and
Loved
stuff.
a bit of dance.
Loved a bit of dance. And then come college, decided to do graphics as a backup A level, and then I kept with it. But I think part of me would have loved to explore graphics and game designing. So I know I always said I wanted to be like the next FIFA game designer.
Yeah, fair.
To work in that kind of field. But it got like thrown at me that it probably might not be a successful career route for you. Going down finance is definitely going to be a lot more safer.
Yeah, no,
more
agreed.
rewarding. Like, what job could you get by doing graphics? That's what was thrown at me.
It just sounds like you thought it wasn't a realistic or viable option then.
I think I listened too much to what people told me. I even, like, with the universities I applied for. Nottingham, Leeds, LSE, City, and maybe there was another one. But, like, there was no thought process in regards to go and do something that has a placement here. There was no thought process around, like, where are creative unis? The only thing that was thrown in my ear was you're a very smart boy.
But you were really good at maths as well. So it's not like you chose an option that you weren't actually doing good at.
But it was a case of do the smart thing versus do the thing that you're going to enjoy. And it's crazy because, like, right now I try to endorse the idea of what is it that you want to really do? What is it that you really want to study?
Mm-hmm.
Not what you want a job in, what you really want to study. Because you're about to do 3 years of this. If I look back now and I ask myself the question, what do you want to spend roughly 40k worth of debt on? Doing something that might be very enjoyable for you or not? I would have loved to explore possibly psychology as an example, or something within the creative space, because I feel like what I'm doing right now allows me to project that. But I'm doing that off the cuff versus doing it with a better understanding and better knowledge behind it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I think it's important to put yourself back to how you were back then, right? So I feel like it's something you've probably learned through now because you've done that. Otherwise, you would have had an itch to do that anyway.
I don't know. I think if there was an element of competition, like you studied econ straight, other boy did engineering, and like that was just us three. If I look at what my uni mate studied, business and management, my ex did science, but everything was around like business, HR, accounting and finance.
Very, very traditional kind of.
And there were people who did creative stuff, but you just thought, nah. And it would have been nice to have possibly given myself a chance to look into it. Or if someone even stopped me and said, look, do this now, but when you're done with it, when it comes to doing it, maybe do a master's. Do a master's in psychology if you want, or do a master's in game design or something. Like, give yourself that chance to just learn something about yourself and what possibly could be your future. I obviously went into massive econ, did a placement year at Nissan, which wasn't related to maths or economics. It was purely to do with marketing and analysis on that side of things.
Yeah.
A lot of Excel, and I loved it. I was really good at it. It's quite fun. Didn't want to go back into it because I wasn't sure what the career would have been like. So when it came to my final year of uni, went down the grad scheme option of doing something in finance. Yeah, I'll do an ACA. How hard can it be? It's 3 letters. It's calm. ACA. Light work. And it worked.
It weren't easy, was it?
You did CA, yeah?
Yeah.
But even then, like, you didn't know what you wanted to do when you came out.
I didn't. In the end, technically, I did something that I didn't want to do. But it was a realistic option.
Yeah.
And it was safe.
But you took a year out. You did a master's.
Yeah.
No, you took a year out first, then did a master's, and then went into a job. So you were 2 years behind me, despite the fact I was a year after you because I did a placement year.
Yeah.
And then I did my ACA, you did your CA, and you kept working, and you went Big 4 option. Me, I went, well, I was going to say not Big 4, but I went top
10, yeah.
And then as soon as I qualified, I was like, yeah, I got to get out of here. I'm just going to quit. And I think prior to all of this, there are things that I like doing. Like, if you looked at me on a night out, I'd always try and make sure. If we ever went Watford Oceana, cabs were already sorted.
Oh, yeah.
I had it in the back of my mind, how are we getting home?
Yeah, you're very proactive in that sense.
So quite, I don't want to say like organized in a way where I thought about the bigger picture. And I thought about making sure you got home safe and they got home
I just
safe.
called it sensible.
Exactly that.
Boring, but sensible.
Exactly. But
Everyone needs that.
I took that to uni as well. And I felt like I've always had this caring, sensible mentality. So I could have been doing this stuff before I started coaching. I imagine if I did psychology and learned more about what a coach could look like, what therapy could look like, where would I have been right now? But I think it's always easy talking about that shit later down the line, thinking, fuck, I wish I did that. No, that's cool. You can always learn about it now. But things change and your mindset changes. And the things you want in life now start to change. And you realize maybe you can't restart to then give that a full go again. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But by the sounds of it, you're saying that you had these traits anyway. Well, here's my view. If someone pushed you down that route, you think you would have excelled.
I think I was
then as well.
Yeah, I think what we do within our community generally is we go down our comfortable route. So
Yeah,
I was comfortable with numbers.
you're good with them as well.
It came easy to me, and so it was. I don't want to say it was easy studying my degree because it weren't numbers. There was a lot of letters and bullshit within maths, but the idea of problem solving and trying to work something out to get an answer came easy to me. So I suppose that coincides with coaching because I'm trying to find your problems, solve them for you, to be able to give you a different answer to what current answer you're throwing out. Let's change up this formula to get you a different result. But yeah, I suppose back in the day, who I was just this standard guy.
So those traits that you just talked about, like problem solving, are you telling me you don't get frustrated when you have a client in front of you who isn't listening to your advice, that you firmly believe this is the route to success for them?
I've had this with a number of clients, and number one, I don't advise them. I might throw them a suggestion. But like, say for instance, the best one is when you've got a woman who's, let's just say, mid-30s, single, looking at the world, thinking, why am I not in a relationship? Why am I not married, etc. I know, first and foremost, from listening to this person, they are hurt, they are wounded, and it's not going to be a simple process trying to find the man of your dreams, because the way you're going about it right now is just trying to gravitate to anyone. You have this desire to be wanted. You have this need to just please your family and your friends, to say, yes, I'm with someone right now. Happy days, look at me. When really and truly, what you really want right now is someone who's going to support your decisions you make, who's possibly going through a similar journey in terms of they've had a lot of heartbreak and they're still processing a lot of stuff. And that comes with time. That comes with you pushing aside the time wasters, giving yourself a chance to really explore someone who gets you. Now, these women that I speak to are on the apps. They are, I want to say religiously, trying to match and talk, get on a date.
They're active with it.
The problem with it is, and I know it, maybe you're not ready for that just yet. Or maybe you are ready, but you need to be a lot more honest and vulnerable in regards to your situation. Look, I can't lie to you. I came out of a relationship 6 months ago. I'm still trying to navigate my way through it. What I want right now is this, but I know it's not going to just come naturally. I don't want to put all out on the first date. I don't want to put all out on the second date. It's all baby steps for me because I was hurt. Put that out there and see what guy reciprocates that kind of energy. But we're too afraid to say that. We're too afraid to do any of that stuff.
See, I find that weird because I feel like more people should respond to that. More people should be that way, because really and truly, you know what you're signing up for then. You're not playing that little middle game.
You're not. But again, when that problem comes up, I know what I would advise as a... If I was speaking to you, I'd be like, yeah, bro, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I can't speak to my clients like that. So I will tell them as a suggestion, maybe it's not the right thing to do. Maybe you do need to give yourself some time, because you clearly have highlighted that you're not ready yet. You're throwing yourself into those scenarios. Let's get you ready first and then go. Because it comes with, like, they talk about healing not being linear. Yeah. These clients of mine are trying to run into the dating scene when they can't walk, because this heartbreak, this trauma of someone cheating on them or leaving them feels like a leg break. Their leg is broken, yet they're trying to run into the next situation. What are you doing?
Yeah, mend.
So when you ask me, do I find it challenging? Not really, because you have to understand everyone's going at a different pace. You have to figure out why they are feeling like that. Where is that really coming from first? And be able to help them get comfortable with that situation. Does that make sense?
No, it makes sense. I guess, I don't know, I put myself in that situation, and just when you feel like you can solve this problem, and it's out of your control technically, isn't it? Because there's only so much you can do. Yeah,
that's it though. But I can't do anything more. I can say to them, look, do you want my advice? Yeah, don't date. Don't go on a date. Delete the app. Don't do anything. Let's work on
Have you ever told
first.
anyone this?
When they've asked, I said, what do you think I should do? I'll be like, do you really want this right now? Because this ain't coaching. And they'll be like, yeah. I'll be like, yeah, don't date. Why are you dating for? You're not ready. You still keep talking about your ex. What are you on about? You're heartbroken right now. You're self-sabotaging. The last 4 dates you've been on, 2 of them probably were perfect. You fucked them all up because you're not ready.
Yeah, you're wasting opportunities then, aren't you?
Well, it's not even waste. You are wasting opportunities. And like, if you were honest and said to them, look, listen, I have trust issues. I feel so insecure about myself. If that's a problem for you, that's okay. Let someone say to you, it's not a problem. I understand that. But I don't want to keep saying these girls, because it has been situations where I've had guys also say similar things.
I'm sure it's the same. Prior
to that. But like the big things that come up are the fact that like we need to rush. And it's like, it's not going to work. Every relationship you get into, if you're bringing all of that negativity from the last relationship or the last situation, how's it ever going to work? Unless someone understands it and can reciprocate it, fine.
No, fair enough. So I think it's funny because we asked that when I asked that question, the first thing you kind of went to
was education.
It was education. Yeah. It was what your kind of aspirations were then. But it wasn't as geared towards what you were actually like as a person.
True. What was I like a person?
Do you consider yourself very similar to you maybe, I don't know, let's say 10 years ago?
It's weird because our little friend will say I was very confident back in the day. And like, he thought I was the guy. And in my head, I probably thought maybe I was a guy to some degree, but not the guy. Like I had my insecurities. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't as big as I'd like to be. We were very skinny growing up.
Yeah, but I don't That wasn't part of our conversation back then.
Exactly though, but like I thought I was a baller playing football. I was pretty slow. I'm not gonna lie. You know, there were so many things I aspired to do, but I think in that phase, I was. Do you know what's weird? I've been a follower. I think I was just following what came about. I tried to be very independent with certain things, so I was the first one to get the tattoo. Out of the crew. We both got our ears pierced. I think I had one done before you. We both got it done at the same time. I think I went overboard with more. You know what I mean? I was always a bit out there. I remember one time we went at Park Royal for, was it a date or a birthday or I don't know. I don't know what you wore, but I came out in a pink shirt with cufflinks and jeans and my Air Force.
Sounds like you, to be honest.
And it's like, what are you doing? You know? But so in some ways, I was trying to follow to just be part of a crowd. And I think parts of me, I was just trying to stand out as well, to be recognized, I suppose.
Yeah, but then I find that odd because my perception of you was you were always standing out and you're confident with it.
Yeah, I know, but don't forget, like, that confidence, what was perceived as confidence, possibly was a cover-up. Yeah, it didn't, things weren't all going to plan. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you knew what you were good at. Or you thought you knew what you were good at and you just ran with it. So if we went Garbo, gas bags.
Yeah.
You know, I think we ran the show. No, we didn't. Come on, leave it out. We look like idiots at times if you look back at those photos.
Yeah, but you know what? It was a good time.
It was a great time. It was a great time at the time. But respectfully, if we went back now and saw a couple of guys doing the same thing, we'd be like, what clowns?
I definitely would.
So I think back then, like,
but you'd still do it.
Yeah, no.
Back then you would have.
Do you think we all did that? Did we all just follow what was right at the time? I don't know.
No, but I think we just ended up having a good time with it, and we met a lot of good people on the way.
Yeah.
That no one really questioned, like, what are you doing? Like, even the older people, like, let's say my sister and stuff, they'd have a laugh at us, but they still recognize we're having a lot of fun with it.
There could have been, I think, if I look back at it right now, there could have been more things I would have liked to have done. So if I look at, let's say, one of my younger cousins, for instance, does a lot of training for, like, say, football, cricket, other sports. And I feel because later down the line I became so sporty in my head, not athletic, but sporty, it would have been nice to have had more of that discipline back then. But I followed what was the right thing. What were you doing? Oh, shit, Neopets. After Neopets, Pokemon. You got Ruby, I got Sapphire.
What about Habbo Hotel?
Habbo Hotel, yeah. Shout out. Yeah. Watching shit on TV because that was the right thing to do. Yu-Gi-Oh, Drake and Josh, Sweet Life. Like, I just followed what seemed right with the crowd I was with. We'd watch Big Brother sometimes or Channel 5 boxing and stuff like that. Like, I got Call of Duty, but I don't really like, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't my bag. I preferred FIFA.
Yeah.
But I got it because that's what the boys were doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you got wrecked at it.
Yeah, I was shit. I
You kept coming back for more though, didn't you?
I came back for more, obviously. It's fun. But it wasn't my bag. And I realized years after, you weren't going to do some of the things I wanted to do. Our other geezer wasn't going to do some of the things I wanted to do. So I had to just start doing my own thing after a while.
It's worked out good? Did you take that opportunity to actually do what you wanted to do? Let's say, because I know you went to university and you're saying you did maths and stuff. I think we were still hanging around doing similar stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
It's after that period.
I think, yeah, after I became qualified and I started hanging out with different people, learning that I could be myself. And I think at work was another interesting, because like when Pokemon Go came out, fully gassed, right? And I used to remember when I used to work in the city, on my lunch breaks, I'd be like, yeah, you boys carry on. I'm running around the city to catch stuff or do a raid or something like that by myself, meeting random people.
You tried to make me come.
Bro, yeah. There was weekends I would go and I'd hang out with a bunch of people from Wembley who'd all come out to the city just to spend 3 hours on their phone tapping. It could be snowing, it could be raining, it could be hot. You've got your charger in. Like, I realized that you weren't going to do some of that stuff. There's going to be times where you weren't going to wake up for a football game. You know how to play, and I'm going to be up. So it was a case of then taking myself out of what I felt I had to follow and just doing something for me. And hence why the podcast started. Hence why coaching started. That's why I quit work twice.
Mm.
And it's the second time I've quit work now. To just give this a go and see what happens.
All right, we'll move on to
I
the
don't know
next
if I've
question.
answered the question properly there, but it's good. I think it's been good chat. It's been good chat.
Right, we'll ask the next one because we've got quite a few from your community.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone's asking for advice on recovering from being a people pleaser.
How do you recover from being a people pleaser?
That's a tricky one.
It's not.
I feel like it is, because I feel like if you're a people pleaser, it's intrinsically in you.
Yeah.
There's no recovering.
No,
It's a part of you.
it's part of you, but you can choose to people please by it serving you. And what I mean by that is, it's so simple for me to just say no. It's very simple for you to say no. When I've said to you, bro.
Yeah, but there's ways to say no.
No. But they'll generally, like, you, if I say, if we reverse back, let's say 10 years ago, yeah, and I was like, bro, let's meet up. You might have felt somewhat guilty being like, oh, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Now it's a case of, I'm staying in bed. I ain't coming out. On your own. Like, me to get him in the studio to have this kind of conversation with me has taken time. But it's on your terms now.
Yeah.
You know how to say no. It's so simple to say no. But we are, like you say, ingrained within us that if we do say no, we are bad people. We're not bad people. We are allowed to be up here and put everyone else's priority below us.
Yeah.
Because what we have to do right now is get through our work. We have to get through our chores or our personal needs. We're on our own health journey. So right now, gym means something. I can't just not do my steps today. Like, what do you mean? Like, this is a priority. So if I've got to spend those 2 hours doing that and I can't come and attend to what you want me to do, sorry, go get someone else.
Yeah.
Go get someone qualified for that if it's that important. But it's difficult for us to say no in those scenarios because, again, we get told that you're a bad person. No. Am I a bad person because I've put myself first? Am I being selfish here? How am I being selfish here? Isn't it important for me to do me and then come to you to help you out when I'm in a better mood versus saying, all right, fine?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I guess, let me flip it to like a scenario.
We love a scenario.
Let's say I'm going through it. You kind of have a feeling I am because I'm reaching out to you, which maybe that's something that I don't normally do.
Yeah.
I'm going through it.
What, like, let's say what, like heartbreak?
You don't know at the time. I'm just telling you, listen, I'm going through it.
Okay, fine.
I kind of want to meet up.
Yeah. Generic, yeah? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
generic. And
Yeah.
you don't know what's going to land
Yeah.
on your door.
Yeah.
But you, just actively me doing that,
Yeah.
you would recognize,
Yeah.
let's say, just because we know each other, you would recognize that, okay, he's going through it. He kind of needs me now. But you got to get your steps in. You got to do your podcast. You got to live your life, right? You got to do what you normally would do. How do you handle that scenario? Because if you're intrinsically a people person, you're going to give up your stuff and you're going to go for it.
Okay, cool. In that scenario right there.
Or you're going to feel bad for it.
No, of course. You pick up the phone or you WhatsApp me and you say, I'm going for it. My first instinct when I look at it, if I have time, is to respond back to you and be like, what's up? Wait for you to respond. If you respond and I have time to respond again, I'll be like, all right, did you want to chat and talk about it? Is that what you're after right now? And you'll be like, yeah, could we meet up? I'll be like, all right, okay, cool. Bro, I can't do today because I've got this. And by the time I get back there, it's going to be very late. And tomorrow I've got an early start. What are you saying tomorrow evening? Because I'm free then. I've got nothing planned for me. If anything, I could just chill. Do you want to hang out then? And so essentially what I've done in that scenario is said to you, this is important for me right now. I can't just drop it. I've got commitments, unfortunately. But what I can do is still come and attend and see you, but I'm going to do it in my time if you're free for that. If you're not free for that and you tell me, look, I can't tomorrow, I'll be like, all right, well then maybe we find another day. I'm free on Monday if you want, or I'm free on Tuesday. I'm not just going to drop everything in this moment to come attend to you right now. Not because I'm a bad person, but unfortunately, I've got 4 guests I've got to interview today. I can't tell them, sorry, my boy's going through it, but he hasn't told me what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you said to me, bro, I'm in an emergency right now, fuck, where are you? That's very different.
Yeah,
that's not
yeah.
people pleasing. That's attending to what's important. What's important right now is my podcast is important. These guests are important, but respectfully, you're in a like a life-threatening situation. Sorry, unfortunately, I've got to bounce. He's reached out to me for that reason. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
And I feel like what we do in these scenarios is when you're telling me you're going through it and I'm finding out that, yeah, you can't find, you're struggling with these girls are bugging you out on dating apps. They're not really like showing any interest. Or, for instance, your mum is pissing you off or whatever. To me, I'm going to be like, bro, how much of is it a deep scenario right now for me to have that chill with you? Can we chat about it over the phone on my drive from here to there? I can speak to you then if you want. But I'm looking at it from what do I have to do first? What's my priorities? And where can I fit you in versus me saying, drop everything just for you. And that's the problem. People drop everything. So it could be like, you'll see at the pub. We'll meet up. It's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock right now. And I'm driving, so I'm not drinking. I'm battered. I've got golf early morning next day. Everyone knows that. You're going to get deep about stuff. Or one of the other boys wants to get deep about something. And we're chatting, we're chilling. I'm like, all right, boys, look, listen, do you not want me to drop you home? Yeah, I'll be like, well, I'm going soon.
Yeah.
And it's a case of, nah, we're going to stay for a few more. I was like, all right, then, well, safe. I'm off. And that's not to be rude. Respectfully, I can hold space, but you need to come meet me at the same place as well. If you don't want to bounce right now, fine. I've got other priorities tomorrow. If you still want to talk about it, message me. You know where I'm at. And I'll offer that. I do it to all my clients as well. I tell them straight up, listen, I might not be able to hold space for you in the moment, but best believe if you reach out to me, of course, when I've got time and I can sit there on my phone and give you the time you deserve, I'll respond back. And I feel like we don't do that. So someone who's recovering from people pleasing, you need to first learn how to say no and not feel guilty about it. And not feel guilty at the fact that you're putting yourself first. Again, scenarios differ. If it's an emergency, if your child needs you, etc., and certain scenarios, you might want to. But there's also going to be a case where your child might turn around and say to you, or not say to you, but just moan and cry or etc. Tough. Tough. Like, you can't be a yes man to them consistently. They're going to get taught no later on in life. You can't please your child with everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a losing battle, isn't it?
So how do you recover from being a people pleaser? Start by saying no and not feeling guilty. And if you do feel guilty, mix it up where you're like, don't apologize either. Don't say, sorry, I can't do it right now. But like, look, listen, my calendar's quite busy. Later on this evening, I could possibly fit in half an hour or an hour if you want. No? All right, fine. Well, then maybe we try another day. That's it. Bottom line, that's it. I've been in scenarios where I might be with someone right now. She's picked up the phone and said, okay, cool. I'll come see you. Give me like half an hour. And I'm like, yo, hello? I've got to. Why? I've just got to. Okay. So clearly I don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, bye then. Safe. Now I'll make my way from here. Don't be silly. Now don't get mad. I mean, get mad. You just basically said, I'm not important and this is. What is it they're going through? Do you want to explain it? Because right now you're just trying to please versus put yourself first. We're having a very, very intimate, deep moment right now. And now you're just going to downplay that and downplay yourself for that. And what happens then? This creates conflict. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but that's going to happen when you tell people no. They hear what they want to hear, right?
No, but you can't control that.
I agree. I just feel like this scenario plays out every day, day to day for people.
It plays out day to day, but that's because we're so afraid to start saying no. Like, it's not difficult. It really isn't difficult for you to say, I can't do that right now. And that's not to be rude. Look, I'm not trying to be rude to you right now. I just can't help you.
I see it playing everywhere, especially in work.
Oh, the work is the work. Oh, bro, I recorded a video about it. It's going to come out, but I want to do it right now for you. All right, say you're my boss, yeah? And you've asked me for something, yeah? The light bulb goes, shit, I need to drop everything to do what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah? And we're going to people please right here. We've got to make sure our boss gets everything they want. Let me flip the script now. I'm your boss, yeah? You need my help for something.
Yeah.
So you come to my office, knock on the door. Have you got time to like go through this report? Calendar's quite busy at the moment. I might have some time maybe tomorrow, like first thing in the morning, or why don't you send it to me and I'll get back to you. You know this is urgent and it needs to be sent out, not to me but to someone else. But you need my help.
Well, yeah, then I'm pissed off because what am I going to do? I'm twiddling my thumbs.
Fine. Are you going to try and get help from someone else?
I'll have to try.
And how do you feel that the fact that you've come up to me and I've said no to you, how does that feel for you?
I'm going to remember that.
Exactly. So why don't you remember it when I come up to you right now and say to you, can you help me with this? Why don't you look at your diary and say, I've got dentist, I've got pick the kids up, I've got the recital in the evening. Tomorrow morning work? What do you mean? Does tomorrow? I need it now. Well, I can't. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It is. You go knock on your boss's door right now and ask for their help and they say to you, sorry, come back again. My calendar's too busy. Why is that same energy not shown to them when they ask you for help? I need this right now. I'm in the middle of something. What are you in the middle of? Drop it. It's not important. Well, it is important. Not for you, it might not be, but this is important. If that was important, you should have booked out some time. Why didn't you block in half an hour later on with me this afternoon to go through it? You know? So why should I drop all my stuff right now? And it might come across as rude. Your boss might think, what a dick. No, I'm only doing what you do to me, right?
Yeah, but this is a conversation that you never end up having. But let's say you want to get promoted and stuff, right? This is what they remember, right?
If this is if this is the environment you're in, where you have to drop everything for them, but they won't drop everything for you, do you really want to work there? Go find somewhere where they're going to show you some respect. Go find somewhere where they're going to be like, I understand you've got stuff, don't worry. If you have got some time, it'd be great. I really could do with some support, but if you're busy throughout the whole day, I understand. But then someone might turn around and say to me, well, my job is to be there for my boss whenever and drop things. Okay, cool, sweet. Make sure your boss also knows that everything else right now is never a priority. Because essentially you're being someone's bitch.
Yeah.
And you're just going to drop everything. If that's your job title, cool. Everything else that needs to be done is not important. So whoever's asking for it, sorry, it doesn't mean anything to me. If something comes in, I'm going to have to push you a lot back. Yeah, as long as you lot know that. But that probably doesn't get articulated in the office.
Nah.
Do you see what I mean? Because everyone becomes important right now. Oh, this person needs it. This person needs it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, sweet. Should I tell you what I need? I need half an hour to go pick my kid up. I also need another hour to cook for them because you lot ain't doing that. Are you paying me enough where I can organize food? No, clearly not. So what about my life I have outside of work? Because I'm not signed up to do 9 to 11 at night. It might look good for a promotion, respectfully, but best believe I work fucking hard.
Yeah.
But that message doesn't get echoed, and I don't think companies want people to hear that either. Some of the older fashioned companies, they don't want to hear that. They don't want you echoing it into them that, okay, fine, go do what you got to do. Bullshit.
Well, no, they want stuff done.
Of course. I did that at work. When I worked at MS and BDO, I remember one particular manager in particular, and he would come up to me and be like, he'd come up in a cool, chilled way and be like, mate, have you got some time to do this? I'd be like, I'll be honest with you, I'm spending the rest of my evening studying. I said, when do you need it by? And he says, I need to review it by the end of the week. And I says, well, it's Tuesday today. Can it be done by Thursday so you can still review it by Friday? Yeah. Cool, sweet. Like tomorrow I'll find some time in the day just to go in and just make sure everything's good for you to review. Okay, sweet, cool. And there used to be times I used to go to that guy and actually say to him, I've got to bounce early. I've got this and that I need to do. Yeah, okay, cool, sweet. You build that relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
We're so scared to build that relationship. You kick back to them and say to you, I can't. I really would love to, but I really can't. They're going to find someone else for it. If it's that important, they'll find someone else. And if you're the only person, they're going to say, all right, here, give me your stuff right now. I'll go get someone else to do this. Can you do this for me? They'll make it work.
It's give and take, isn't it? But a lot of people give.
So that's how you start people pleasing. How you stop. Just say no. See what happens.
Right, let's go into the next one.
Yeah.
Your opinion on following your passions versus staying in a safe job, especially within cultured families.
Following your passion versus staying in a safe job. So
what's your opinion on this, though? I know you've done it.
Yeah.
But let's try to take that out of this and just say, let's say you had a kid right now. What would your opinion be?
Well, let's not imagine I have a kid. Let's just say I look at it from my younger cousins.
Okay,
who are
yeah.
in high school. So it's probably a good place. Some of them are going into uni. So what would I say to them in regards to following their passions or going on a safe job? I think I'd ask them, what's important? Like, what's really important for you? What kind of lifestyle do you envision?
See, this is where I differ, because everyone, especially at that age, their lifestyle, they want it to be chill. They're going to choose an easy route.
And
surely, right?
what's wrong with an easy route? What's wrong with it?
Well, choosing the easiest option isn't always the best option.
For who? For you or for them? It's not your life.
Okay, so let me flip this. If I was 15 and I wanted to become, I don't know, a librarian,
Yeah.
something I really I enjoy reading. Hypothetically, I mean, I don't, not really, but let's say I enjoyed reading it, right?
Yeah.
And then it came to it, and then I realized actually life hits. There's no career progression for me. I'm not earning the kind of money that I want. That's forced me to sacrifice things like maybe I have to stay at home longer than I envisage.
Yeah.
Maybe on the dating market even, like I'm not looking that great now.
Yeah.
My stock is low. I can't go on these dates that I like have in my head. I can't go on holidays. There's so much I've given up.
Yeah.
Because at that time I just chose something easy and I thought it was chill. Maybe a 9 to 5 kind of thing. And I was like, well, great. I get to do what I like to do. Simple. But I wasn't equipped with that information then.
Exactly. So what I'd ask that question to you if you were 15 right now. I'm like, so you want to be a librarian? Okay. What does that look like for you in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? Think about it though. Don't just tell me that you want this, because we want to live in the short term and enjoy the fruits of our labor. But at the same time, I want to make sure you're planning. So if you want to be this librarian, great. Let's try this out right now. How much does librarians get paid? Roughly. Let's just say a rough number. 30K a year, 40K, roughly. Apologies if you're a librarian.
No slight.
No. Let's just say you're earning 30, 40K a year. Okay, cool. But if you do this for the next 10 years, what I would like from you personally is to put aside 5 to 10K in savings. And we're going to put that into a fund or something, and that's going to generate something. So when it comes to 10 years' time, if you're still on the same salary, at least you've got something to play with in regards to further streams of income, right? Because this is what I never got taught. And I feel like you do the same thing too. If you didn't want to be a librarian, but you wanted to become a young entrepreneur and do like gardening or landscaping or...
Yeah, take a trade and run with it.
Let's equip you for what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So we don't know what the right answer is, but if we start taking bits and bobs out and we start looking at how you could possibly get a mortgage if you really want to get into property later down the line, because that's what you envision your future, right? Living in a nice house. But to live in a nice house, you're going to possibly need more income coming in, right, than what you're getting right now. So how about double what you get later down the line? If you want to have a partner, right, in 10 years' time, you want to be married, etc. Okay, cool, sweet. So how do you look in this situation? Are you just as you are right now? Are you bulking? Are you gymming? Are you fit? Are you healthy? What are your habits? Are you golfing on the weekends, etc.? Like, let's really understand what that could look like for you, because it's going to change. Let's be honest. In 5 years' time, you could meet someone and have a kid early, and then what kind of thing? So these things could happen, but let's plan as much as we can. So let's give yourself a bit more guidance to get there, versus saying to yourself, "Nope, you can't be that. You've got to go into banking right now." And then they hate the next 10 years. They make all this money, but they're physically drained. They've picked up habits like doing drugs, smoking, drinking.
Stress relieving.
Do you see what I mean? So if my cousin said to me right now, look, Pri, I want to become a builder. Okay, fantastic. What does that include? Great. Have you done any research how much that makes? Okay, cool, sweet. So this is what you want to do? Fantastic. What kind of lifestyle do you want to live there? Do you want to live in a mansion? Do you want to live in a massive house? Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to live outside of the city? If someone said to me they want to become a farmer, I'll be like, yeah, watch Clarkson's Farm as an example. Look at the ups and downs that happens in there, because they talk about it in some good detail. Let's give you as much as we can right now to really provide you with some insight into what life could look like. So for me right now, if you ask me the question, should I follow my passion or stay in a safe job? It all depends on what you really want. Because if you want, let's say in 10 years' time, to be doing the thing you love doing, regardless of what that looks like in terms of your living situation, leave your job. Life's too short for this shit. If you tell me in 10 years' time, Pri, I really want to be in a position where I've got a nice 4-bedroom house. I've got a partner, etc. Okay, cool. What is that going to require? Because you're 20 years old right now. So at the age of 30, how much money are you going to need to save? And if you look at interest rates and look at it from this angle, and I try and educate them as much as I can, you're going to possibly need this much of a deposit in 10 years' time to be able to warrant that. So let's say house prices have gone up in 10 years by this much. It's probably going to be, let's create some sort of maths. We might not get the answer right, but let's at least prepare you as much as we can so that you can do what you like to get there. If you want to play it safe, okay, cool, play it safe. But what does that look like for you? What does your social life look like? Are you going on holidays, etc.? And you ask all of these questions. So my therapist did it to me, and he said to me, "Pretty, all right, cool. What does coaching for you look like in 10 years' time, 5 years' time, 3 years' time?" And I said, let me give you a short-term answer. By next year, I need to be fully booked out on my calendar right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, cool. Start visualizing. What does that look like? How many calls are you having a day? How much time are you spending in the gym? How much time are you spending training, like on yourself personally? You love golf. When are you golfing? What holidays are you going on? How often are you socializing? Do you even have time to date? And when you start answering those questions, it gives you a better understanding of, fuck, okay, cool. So if I want to be doing what I'm doing right now, but on a larger scale, do I need to increase my prices to then allow me to have time to then facilitate other things? Or like you can
sacrificing something along the way.
Exactly. But you can plan a bit better versus not. So if you are in a position right now where there are things you'd like to do, hire me, or not hire me, but have a conversation with me and get a better understanding of what life could look like for you. Let me drill in some questions, or get any coach.
I think what I'm getting from that is first of all, ask those questions.
Yeah.
Then look at the end result.
Yeah.
And work backwards from it.
Yeah.
And equip yourself with information along that.
Create your own roadmap. Because like a few of our friends are in the actuary space, right?
Yeah.
Everyone said to me, go do actuary.
I mean, you had the skills for it.
I've got the skills. And it looks like it would have been very rewarding financially. Respectfully though, what would my life have looked like if I was going into the office 4 days a week, 5 days a week?
You'd probably still be doing exams as well, by the way.
Yeah. Not having time to golf, socialize. Well, maybe socialize to some degree, but my socializing is probably going to be just drinking. I'm not really going to get a chance to like date the way I get to date right now because I've got a lot more time on my hands. I'm not going to get to explore possibly this attire because I don't think many actuaries that I know of are that, I say, expressive. I could be lying and I apologize if that's the case. But
no, I mean, the actuaries that I know, they still wear essentially a suit to work, right?
Exactly. And so could I really be me? Probably not. But at the same time, I'm making all of this money. But what happens in, let's say, if I can't find a partner? What do I do then? Just keep working? Work to the grave? No. What holidays? Can I take 3 months to go travel? Am I allowed to do that? And so I suppose it's just really giving yourself a better feel. Like, I think everyone would love to be their own boss one day. And I think a lot of people don't want to be their own boss. They want a very chilled lifestyle. And that's totally cool. But it's understanding in 10 years time, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah. And I guess
it's like living in the short term, but knowing that this is the direction I want to be going down. And I might take lefts and rights, but respectfully, that's that first checkpoint I need to get to. And this is how I'm going to get there. And as long as you hold yourself accountable towards that, you'll be fine. So if you do want to do something, which means following your passion, but in 10 years time, you want to be doing that full time, maybe we start the process now. What does that mean? Does that mean going to events? Does that mean creating a little side hustle?
I want to look at this question is, what if their passion is something they're terrible at?
Okay.
Like, look, you got to face the real truth sometimes, right? I like to draw. It doesn't mean I'm an artist.
That's fine.
It doesn't mean I ever can be, really.
No, you can be an artist. Doesn't mean that you have to sell your work.
So then it's a hobby.
Exactly.
But then I need to have a safe job on the side of that, right?
Understandably. But if your job like, I would ask you right now, why do you think you're shit at drawing?
Because I am.
No, but if you find it quite therapeutic where you could put something together, you might think it's shit. Someone might find it amazing. And you take that piece that you've done, whether it's digital or you've drawn it or you've painted it, whatever. And I tell you, find someone who can sell this. And we'll put a price tag on it. How much you want to make off that drawing? £1,000, let's just say randomly. Put it up there. You don't know who's going to find it. Great. You don't know who's going to really enjoy it. You're not going to look. You don't know who's going to look at that and be like, "Oh my god, only 1,000? Yeah, I'll take that right now." You don't know.
I agree. I see what you're saying, but the way I would view it is, I know I'm not trained in this. I know I'm not good at it. I haven't put the work in it. I haven't actually put the effort.
Yeah.
So the quality that I am putting out, I know is substandard.
Yeah.
It might look good to that one person.
Yeah.
That one person that's also buying NFTs and crypto, or I don't know, he's just buying everything.
Yeah.
But I know the kind of effort that I've put in. It's not worth that much.
Let's look at let's
Just because I produce something doesn't mean that it has to be.
No, but you believe it might not be worth that much. Respectfully, this is what someone taught me about my style of coaching. I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job. And they're like, "Does your client keep turning up?" Yeah. When you ask your client, are they satisfied? Are they enjoying it? They're like, yes. What are you worried about? Don't over stress and don't overcomplicate it. If we look at Shits and Gigs as an example, yeah, they started their podcast, I think 3-4 years ago. I think it's been 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
Maybe butchering it. And I remember James and Fuad, they mentioned that when they first started, if you look at the setup and how they used to run,
it was pretty
terrible.
bad.
But they kept at it. We don't know if they were good. They just kept at it. They loved it, kept at it. And they had jobs on the side. And eventually they both quit their jobs to now be doing podcasting full time, and they do live shows and they've been touring, etc. But it's a process to understand your craft, understand who the audience is, what they want to see, how can you generate some sort of income from it as well, and then all of a sudden get into a place where you're able to do it full time and not stress about it. So if you are pretty bad at something, you might have to look at it and say to yourself, right, what's going to really run? So I was telling you as soon as we walked in here, I was like, I love podcasting, but some of the episodes don't necessarily land the way I would like it to. And it's funny, one of the episodes I did last year, someone just messaged me before you came in and said, I love how you spoke about that topic. I'm like, how many people listen to it? You just listened to it and said it was amazing, interesting. So there could be some context behind all of this stuff. It's obviously just finding the right audience, and it's building towards it. So what we're doing right now, where you're not on camera and I'm just talking, if this style of episode lands and people like the kind of conversation, am I not going to want to do this more often? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
If the audience says, who's Mr. Anonymous? We want to see him. We want to see the chat.
And they won't.
And they won't. Yeah. But do you see what I mean? Like, if they vibe with this kind of energy, maybe this is the kind of style I do moving forward versus constant interviews.
So it's like iterations.
You've got to figure it out. Like, people have said, like YouTube, for instance. I remember, I think it was Chunks who said it on one episode of Chunks and Philly. I could be butchering it. They mentioned if it's not working and you're not getting views and you've been doing it for like a couple of years, and you need to stop, give up.
Really?
I think he said that. And that got me thinking, bro, like, it's not looking good sometimes. But then I realized that my content might slap on a certain platform than it does on, let's say, YouTube, for instance.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I have to just think about it. If it's working there, keep plugging it in as much as you can. And let's see what then transforms over. Because maybe someone trying to listen to a 45-minute episode or an hour episode on YouTube is a lot to consume versus listening to it is better, or short forms.
Yeah, short form.
Doing the whole episode, but in, let's say, 21.5-minute clips on Instagram, that's a 30-minute episode, if you do the maths. Is that right?
God knows, but I mean, you could even release it in like snippets, half.
Exactly. You just keep doing
Part 2
10 minute,
later.
10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minute. It might draw in a different crowd. It's just trying to find what works. So if you are quite shit at something, okay, cool. Like, I would love to play football. All right. The dream was Man United.
Look, let's be honest, you had to give up on it.
Yeah, I did. I had to give up very early on
They
it.
didn't scout you.
But respectfully, the dream, if you ask me, would be to play at Old Trafford. Okay, well, you can go hire that out if you really want to. That's the truth. No, I want to play for Man United. Well, unfortunately, you're not good enough. Okay, cool. So what could you do instead to still fulfill that dream somehow? Work with Man United.
Yeah.
How could you do that? I could coach. Could try and do a podcast thing there. I could
Great United content.
DM Marcus Rashford consistent to be like, bro, let me have a conversation. Let me have a conversation with you and see what happens there. So hopefully that answers that.
One of your community members, they said, why do Asian women carry on and stay in toxic relationships, brackets, includes biological family members.
Why do Asian women carry on and stay in toxic relationships? I think. If I look at it from, let's say, our scenario, people stay in their relationships because they feel they're not specifically allowed to leave and put themselves first. So it goes again to people pleasing. I have to please everyone else in the community, in the family. It looks bad if we divorce, if we split up. It looks bad if I leave my mum and dad.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And because it looks bad to everyone else, we won't put ourselves first. So let's not just say, why do Asian women carry on? Because some Asian men might stay in a relationship.
I agree,
the fact they despise their wife. They are not attracted to them.
Or maybe even the expectations they place on, let's say, their wife.
Yeah.
Is something that they wouldn't actually want to place, but well, they know in the community, maybe my wife's not meant to be going out.
Yeah.
Like maybe these are the messages they're taught.
Yeah. Where does it come from, the need to like making sure everyone else is happy first?
With Asian women.
Asians. Because I don't even think it's an Asian thing. I generally don't think it's an Asian thing. I think it's generally a human thing. It might be a bit more ingrained within Asians. I don't know why. But I'm trying to figure out, like, why is it we're always trying to please and appease to the community and not look bad, despite the fact that they are some fuck-ups.
Yes, this idea with pride, respect, all of that.
But there are going to be fuck-ups. Why does divorce look bad? Like, to me, it says, if you told me right now, bro, I'm going to divorce my partner right now, I'll be like, sick.
Well, yeah, if you don't like her.
Not necessarily that, but if I knew the fact that you're divorcing her because you've fallen out of love, you're not in a healthy space when you're with her, for you to be smiling and bring the energy we know you have within you out consistently, and that means being away from this person, despite the fact you've got kids, despite the fact there's going to be complications, financial issues, etc., but you're going to be buzzing, bro, your life comes first, no? Surely.
Well, it should, and I think actually it's the harder thing to do would be to leave. But doing that in the long run results in a better you, which results in better relationships around you.
Of course.
Staying in the toxic environment, it will affect you.
You'll resent people more.
It'll rub off on you, I think, as well.
The number of times I've spoken to men and women, I said, why are you still in this situation? Leave. It's not difficult. Pack your bag and go. Put yourself in an environment where you can chill for a bit. Relax. Think about it. Oh no, I can't. It's going to look bad. For who? Why do you care about everyone else? You got to make it make sense. Why do you care about everyone else? What about you? If I told you right now you're going to have one more year of life left on this planet, do you want to spend it in that toxic environment? No.
Okay, how about there's a lot that you're saying is do it for yourself, right?
Yep.
Having a family intrinsically in itself, do you think there's a place to be that selfish?
I think we should be that selfish.
Every decision you make, does it not have to have do you not have to have some consideration with, let's say, my parents, how are they going to be affected by this?
Of course.
My kids, how are they affected by this?
It's nice to have them in thought, but they should not overpower the decision. They shouldn't.
But they need to be a part of the conversation, right?
They could be part of the conversation, but if they're going to be completely anti everything you throw to the table, and that's you being happy, they're basically anti you being happy. How does that make sense? Yeah. I try and dial it down because I feel like sometimes people in our generation don't look back to think about what these parents went through and what their parents went through and this trend that's happened. So we need to be the bigger people in this scenario and look at it from a perspective where I get it. They're shit parents because of this. They're going to have these comments because of this.
Yes,
they married into that situation. They married my mum or my dad because they didn't have a choice. They look at us right now and think, fuck, they're so grumpy, they're moody, they're miserable because they've sacrificed everything to give for you right now and you're not showing any respect. But I think if you hone it in with them and you really sit them down and say, look, mum, dad, this is going to make me happy. What have you been doing all of this for? Like, I'm going to be devastated if I have to do that. I can't stand being with them anymore. You don't know what it does up here for me. I guarantee you they're going to be like, as their protective selves, come. Don't stay in it. And the parents that do, I just don't think they're emotionally equipped.
They aren't, but you're saying override that and make the best decision.
Exactly. Because what will happen, right? Let's say we get very dark and extreme right now. Let's say hypothetically, you tell your parents, I don't want to stay with my partner anymore. I really can't. It's driving me crazy. I can't communicate to the kids properly. They're seeing a bad relationship, etc. All of this stuff. And your parents turn around and say, tough, you can't leave. You can't leave. You're the parent right now who said that. Yeah? You said to me, I can't leave. What happens if I go and commit?
Yeah.
How are you feeling now? Guilty?
Well, I should be feeling guilty, yes, 100%. I don't know if, let's say, the older generation actually views that situation as their fault.
No, but if you put yourself...
I think it's hard to drill it home to them.
It's cool. But I'll and this is where, like, say, the controversy comes in. If in that scenario, they feel it's not their fault, fine. You're not meant to make them understand because they may never understand. You have to accept that. And if someone's going to be unhappy with what you do, we're not here to please them. You've got to still do what you do. So for instance, right now, my mum and dad could have said to me, we don't want you to leave your job. We want you to go back into it after you travel.
Yeah.
You don't understand how draining it is for me to do something where I feel like I'm not valued and therefore there's not much progress. This is me exploring me right now. If you can't understand that fully, unfortunately, we're going to have a problem because I'm going to have to quit regardless. If I stay in this relationship and I'm telling you right now, I'm stressed all the time and you can't understand that, I'm going to have to leave. And if I haven't got your support, that's fine. I'm going to have to figure it out my own way. That's it. You're not meant to understand. You're going to think, oh, that should never be a problem. Why are you being difficult for? No, you lot made me difficult. Can you not understand that? Can you hear my tone in my voice right now? Does this sound normal?
Yeah.
Does it look like I'm happy? I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to throw arms right now. Does this look normal? Of course not. But if you can't understand that and accept that, and you think I'm a wrong person for leaving, that's okay. I accept that you're going to have your opinion. You're going to look at this badly. You may never support me, never want to see me again. That's okay. Respectfully, I thought I had you. It's fine to understand I don't. And I'm going to keep it moving.
So do you think Asian women need to put themselves first?
I think they need to look at the scenario and genuinely say, yes, this is not making me happy, and try and communicate it in a way where they can get the message across. And the big challenge I have with a lot of my Asian women clients is that they don't know how to. They're too scared to.
Do you know, sorry, another thing I'm thinking of is, like, I can imagine that scenario.
Yeah.
Do you think other people, say friends around them or other women around them, offer them enough help? Because a lot of the time they might consider themselves alone.
Yeah.
Like they don't have an option, because who do they turn to?
Yeah.
If it's their family who's saying stay with him,
Yeah.
or it's their family that's the problem, who do they go to?
This is why it's so important you do reach out to people, i.e. professional people in this space. And it's, again, another backward thing to do. I think it's a lot more highlighted right now that you go get therapy, go speak to a coach. There are people there who can help and support. There are groups out there you could be a part of. But taking that first step is a very, very difficult thing to do. But when you realize people are in a similar boat and you've got supporters in your corner, it makes a big difference. But I do agree. I think it's a difficult space sometimes, because if you've got friends who influence you badly, no, stay there. Don't leave the relationship. No, you'll make it work. No, what do you mean? You're not in my relationship. This doesn't satisfy me anymore. It doesn't feel good. I'm scared to be around my partner. They don't know that because they don't live it. So unfortunately, they never will fully understand and comprehend what you're going through. So you might have to take yourself out of that equation and take that out of the scenario and go and speak to someone who's actually been through it. Go speak to the girl right now who's in that Facebook group, who talks about how she left her husband and how she lives alone right now and how she's thriving. Go get some understanding. Ask her what the difficulties were to begin with. Ask her, does she have support from her family? And if she hasn't and she's generally just like you at least got someone there who gets it.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
No, I get that.
All right, hold on.
It's just tricky situation,
It
isn't
is a
it?
tricky situation. It is a tricky situation. I'm just gonna stop it and then restart it.
Sorry about that. Poor way to end that. I know I should have had a better outro. Basically, we put a pause there on the first part of that Q&A session. We wanted to make sure we gave you a little break in between and not bore you with a 2-hour episode. So that's part 1, unfiltered Q&A, a little bit about me and my kind of opinions and thoughts around a number of topics that you lot weren't answering to. So hopefully that's gone a long way for you. You've enjoyed it, and me and Mr. Anonymous will be back for part 2. If you lot have liked it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And if there are any more other questions you want us to go through, if you want me to answer, even if you want his opinion, let me know and we'll try to sort that out for you soon. All right, it's been your boy Pri. I'm signing out, and I'll see you lot on the next episode. Peace.